There's been quite a bit of criticism aimed towards Ghost Adventures recently. No, it's nothing to do with the Aaron Goodwin situation almost getting taken out by his wife. And no, it's nothing to do with Zach Bagans directly. It's nothing to do with that. It's to do with the show specifically and someone that they recently had on an episode in the most recent... I think it's an insult, actually, to call it even a season. It was like 3 episodes. But, you know, that's by the by. And it was all to do with the episode... for the Abandoned Whiskey Pete episode that had Matt Rife. Now, the response online has been very interesting, to say the very least. So, let me just give you a little bit of context in case you missed it. So, the latest Ghost Adventures episode featuring Matt Rife was titled Abandoned Whiskey Pete, which aired on May 7th of 2025 at 10 p.m. ET on the Discovery Channel, with streaming available on the next day on Discovery Plus and on Max. In this episode, Zach Bagans, Aaron Goodwin, Billy, and Jay were all joined by comedian Matt Rife investigating Whiskey Pete's hotel and casino in Primm, Nevada, a recently shuttered property with the history of murder, mystery, and paranormal activity, believed to be haunted by the spirits of its namesake, a notorious bootlegger. The episode focuses on the team's overnight lockdown, where they encounter oppressive energy, unexplained voices, and eerie phenomena. A teaser highlights Rife's colourful commentary, though it suggests he may not be fully prepared for the intensity of the investigation. The team captured voices on the suite on the 19th floor, and notable moments included a door lock, swing, and the fast moving shadow. Zach Bagans later posted on X... about examining intriguing evidence captured with the XLS camera, indicating further analysis. However, some fan reactions on Reddit criticised the episode for focusing too much on Rife's humour and Zach, with less emphasis on the serious investigation, and some questioned the authenticity of the evidence, feeling it leaned towards entertainment over substance. Now, obviously, we all know that Matt Rife is a very, self-proclaimed paranormal enthusiast who has conducted, quote-unquote, hundreds of investigations and previously worked with Bagans at his haunted museum, who brought the humour and drew a mix of reactions due to his controversial comedic history, as noted in Reddit discussions. Now, the episode has come out with a 5.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb, reflecting a mixed bag reaction, right? So that's kind of the context to the episode. Now, the evidence is, well, Ghost Adventures level evidence, right? Like, it's nothing you'd scream home about. It's nothing that's going to break the internet anymore because, it's just basically what all paranormal people are doing on YouTube these days. But this was obviously how they started up the episode and kickstarted everything, right? It was all to do with these, voices that were captured on the 19th floor. And I think this clip alone set the tone for what was to come within the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest investigator, Matt Rife. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Boom.
Good to see you, man. I regret this immediately. This is so awesome.
I want you to join us quickly for a evidence review.
You already got stuff?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, are
So
you fired
excited.
up?
Yeah, man.
This is Aaron. This is Billy, Matt.
What's up, Billy? Nice to meet you, man. Aaron, too. Good to meet you, brother.
You're locked in with us tonight, and it's gonna get really intense. Are you ready for this?
I'm psyched, man. Not at all terrified.
Power knuckles, power knuckles.
Power knuckles. Let's
Here's
go.
Jay right here. Meet Jay.
What's up, Jay?
Jay.
Dibs on Jay for the night.
Whoa, what does that mean?
He has a
Dibs
light.
on Jay.
He has a light in the camera. Dude, I want Jay around.
Matt isn't just some random guest. He is a serious paranormal investigator that's done hundreds of investigations. He and I have also investigated before at my museum.
So we've been able to validate that the suite on the 19th floor is definitely an active hot spot.
Yes.
So we are gonna focus on that tonight.
We begin by reviewing the voices that came through as soon as we entered the suite.
I poop. I toot. I poo. I something with ooh. Play it.
That's exactly right.
What do you hear, man?
He hears that now. Here's the next one.
Who's that? Female. It's not Matt.
Are you already trying to have the ghost call you by name? You just got here, bro.
So So that's just the clip in question, right? So that might have to be cropped out of the final video before this makes it to YouTube, because I know that Zach is not the biggest fan of me, so, you know, it might get copyrighted. So if it's not in the video, I apologise. You can find it. If you've seen the episode, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's when they're talking about the voices at the very beginning, and it's the whole I poop, and Matt being like, oh, it says Matt. But it kind of sets the tone, right? Because that's the kind of comedic vibe that the group take into this investigation. And that's been something that's been scrutinized about this episode, is that it wasn't serious enough. Now, I don't know who watches Ghost Adventures and is like, I'm after a very serious investigation here, because every episode, Zach's either getting possessed, something's happening, there's some kind of shadow, there's voices, or, you know, something crazy's going on. I don't think people tend to really watch Ghost Adventures anymore for the serious side of the investigation or the evidence. I think people kind of watch it just for, you know, shits and giggles, almost like a little bit of a horror movie kind of thing. But many people were disappointed by the episode for sure. Most people criticised the evidence itself, stating that it was kind of lackluster, which again puts Ghost Adventures in a bit of a catch-22 situation where, and it comes back to this whole thing that Casper Sight mentioned over in his video recently, right? Where if there's not this payoff in every single paranormal video, people lose interest and they don't care to watch the show. Now, Ghost Adventures know this better than probably most, right? So that's probably why there is so much that goes on in every single episode. Regardless of whether it's real or fake or whatever, I'd like, no one really cares about that. It's just, will people get those cheap thrills that they watch the show for? But I know that one of the biggest bones of contention in this episode wasn't actually the evidence, wasn't the Ghost Adventures crew, wasn't the location, wasn't the evidence. It was Matt Rife himself. Now, Matt Rife's got a very, interesting comedic career, right? That was, his Netflix special that came out, and he made some, comedic jabs at SA and stuff like this. And it didn't sink too well. Now, I'm British, okay, I don't know if you can tell, but our humour over in the UK is dark. So, in the UK, Matt Rife's comedy flies. Like, he is rivaled to that, not rivaled, I think it would do someone like Jimmy Carr discredit to say that Matt Rife rivals him, because he is the GOAT. But Jimmy Carr gives off this dark, almost close to the bone humor, where it's you're either gonna really hit or you're going to really miss, and that's the line that British comedians tend to run. Ricky Gervais is very much the same, and Matt Rife is very much the same. And in America, I think the humor is a little bit less dark and evil compared to the UK. So I do think that's just my take on it. At least American viewers, you can let me know if you think I'm wrong. But the British humour to me is completely unrivaled. So Matt Rife absolutely thrives here in the UK. People do find him funny. But yeah, I know he's a bone of contention for a lot of people. Anyway, moving on. So this is a Reddit thread that's come out, and Zach has always kind of come off douchey to me, but it seems to get worse and worse. And then he has the comedian on the show whose big claim to fame is getting angry that is mainly mainly female audience. So he decides to start off his Netflix special with a joke about domestic violence towards women. Obviously, although the British love their dark humour, we also know where to draw a line, and that wasn't the greatest of moves from Matt Rife, let's say. So he decides to start off the Netflix special with a joke about domestic violence towards women. That's obviously how the Netflix special went. I just don't get it. I feel like the guest like that, who is just a misogynistic POS, signs off on his behaviour. Is it possible to film that before the incident? Even if it was, they could have stretched the episode. I've always seen Zach as someone who could potentially be a jerk, but now I feel like he is one. That's ruined the show for me. Honestly, I've been watching Honor for years and seen every episode of Ghost Adventures as well as the spin-offs. I usually used to have it more as background noise though. Have I just missed the big signs along the way? TLDR, has Zach always been an asshole, or was I just blind to it? Yeah, and then the comment section kind of speaks for itself, right? Not many people are the biggest fans of Zach Bagans. It's weird because, like, the Ghost Adventures Reddit thread is just more people bashing Zach than it is anything else, and it's kind of crazy. But, yeah. So that's kind of the bone of contention with the latest Ghost Adventures episode. Unsurprising, it it was either gonna sink or swim, and I think this one sank, but the other episodes seemed to be, received really well, especially the Poltergeist one. I still believe that was an absolute cash grab, as it's now been turned into an Airbnb. But game's the game. You got to make money in the world, I guess. So what better way to do it than get Zach in and his Ghost Adventures crew? But what do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Did you mind Matt Rife being a part of the episode, or do you think he's not the right fit for the Ghost Adventures crew? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on that down in the comments. And while you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.